Good afternoon. My name is Peter Lee, and I'm the Student Council Secretary of the greatest high school class ever to walk this earth, or as it is officially known, the Seoul Foreign School Class of 2014. It is my honor to introduce one of my favorite teachers of all time, Lauren Jackson, as a speaker for today's baccalaureate service. Mrs. Jackson received her bachelor's degree from Haverford College and went on to get her master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania. As a student, like many of us, she lived in 7 different places before she graduated high school, and so it seems only right that she has taught literally all around the world. At Bainbridge Island, somewhere in Washington, Philadelphia, Hong Kong International School, Saigon South International School, and of course at present, our very own Seoul Foreign School. Mrs. Jackson is a very passionate person, an unbelievably hardworking and capable English teacher who is also a devoted mother of 2 great kids and the loving wife of the one and only mythical Michael Jackson. In short, she does it all, and does it well, with a zealous passion in whatever it is she chooses to pursue. Something I'm sure most of us seniors wish we could figure out how to do. And so without further ado, to teach us just how to do that is our very own Mrs. Jackson.
The title of my talk today comes from a thoughtful poem by Mary Oliver called The Summer Day. It's a poem about paying attention to the small details around us. She asks some deep questions about prayer and life, ending with a question I love. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? This is a question for graduates for sure, but it's also a question I hope we all ask ourselves every day, whether we're 18 or 38 or 78. Oliver creates a lovely juxtaposition between wild and precious. Wild has the connotations of being natural and untamed, being uncultivated, uncontrollable. Precious, on the other hand, describes something of great value, something not to be wasted or treated carelessly. It's what we might call a person beloved to us. So life is something of ultimate value, but at the same time, it's something we can't completely grasp or tame. From a Christian perspective, this can make perfect sense. Jesus' sacrifice affirms that our lives are precious, but it also allows us to accept the wildness of them and not to worry because God has got his hand on us. Most of us, however, can't help but worry, or at least wonder and work to figure out the right answer. And poised at the edge of one of the great leaps that you will take in life, I can imagine that many of you are already thinking and wondering what you might do with your one wild and precious life. I hope you're paying attention to what you love to do, not simply what you're good at, but what your calling is, what will benefit the world, and what will make you happy every day. I want to tell you the story of one of those moments of my life when God showed me that I could do what I thought I really most wanted to do, which is to be an English teacher. And it's related to this speech as well, because one of my greatest challenges in life is public speaking and performing. I know many of you seniors may not relate to this because I've watched so many of you perform and speak and play music on this stage and in the Liso Center and in the Black Box Theater and in the front of my classroom. You are beautiful and talented, poised and smooth. But my worst days of high school were when I had to get up in front of my class and give a speech or give a presentation. When I had to stand up there in front of a classroom, I lost control of my brain and my limbs. When I was a junior reading the Scarlet Letter in my American Lit class, my teacher assigned us to groups of 4 to write a play expressing the theme of the individual versus society. Somehow I figured out that if I could write a refrigerator into the play, I could perform my part without moving. I knew I'd still need to talk, but at least I could stay planted in one spot. Miraculously, my classmates agreed to my scheme, and I got the part of the fridge. But I still had to get up on the stage, and it was excruciating. So fast forward to the end of college, and this is my big question. I love English, and I think I'm good at it, and I want to share that with students. But how can I stand up in front of a classroom every day? As you think about what you might do, what are your obstacles? The competition's too intense, or you have so much still to learn, or writing is a challenge, or it's not your family's first choice for you. I applied for graduate school in English education, but I still wasn't sure I could do it. I prayed and I worried and I asked God if I was doing the right thing. That summer I was reading Exodus, and after the excitement of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt, I got to the part about building the tabernacle where God gives all of his specifications, and I started reading passages like this. God told the Israelites, make curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 altogether. All 11 curtains are to be the same size, 30 cubits in length and 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together into one set and the other 6 into another set. And it went on and on like that. And I admit, I thought, well, I'm just going to read this to get through it. I don't know anything about goat hair. And I don't think God's going to teach me anything, but I'll just keep reading. So I read all the specifications about how to make the lampstand and the courtyard and the priestly garments and the basin for washing. And then I got to Exodus 31, and I read the part about Bezalel and Aholiab. Then the Lord said to Moses, see, I have chosen Bezalel, son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill and ability and knowledge in all kinds of crafts, to make artistic designs for work in gold and silver and bronze, to cut and set stones, to work in wood, and to engage in all kinds of craftsmanship. Moreover, I have appointed Aholiab, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, to help him. And this is where I saw God's answers to my questions. For all those very specific and elaborate and holy elements of his tabernacle, God didn't go out and find people who already had the skills. Rather, he chose the people first, and then filled them with his Spirit and the ability to do what he wanted them to do. And every time the workmen are mentioned, they're described as being skilled because the Lord had given them the skill and ability to carry out his work. I think there's another important element to the story of the builders. Moses summoned those to whom the Lord had given the ability, but they also had to be willing to do the work. Moses didn't force anyone to become a designer or an embroiderer or a weaver. He called those who were willing and eager to carry out the work. And in the end, they had more than enough material and labors to make the temple that God wanted. I might be quite simplistic in my theology here, but this is how God spoke to me at a time in my life when I was questioning and wondering whether I could do what I felt called to do. I could hear God talking to me through the story of what his people did long ago, when they faced a daunting and important task. And God was saying, I called you, and you don't have to worry about being good enough now. I will grow you into that skill and ability that you need to be a teacher who can do my work with students. I don't think this story applies only to big life decisions either. I think God told us this story because it applies anytime we're afraid to do something important. Like when you took a leap to go on a service DW, and you had to play with little kids for the first time, or teach lessons to other teenagers, or break your back mixing cement with a shovel. And I also don't think God's implying that it will be easy, or that we'll never make mistakes, or that we won't continue to face challenges. Which brings me back to this stage. I was very tempted to tell Peter Lee that he was asking the wrong person to speak, but then I realized that I could show you this message as well as telling it to you by saying yes to something that I wasn't sure I could do, and trusting that God would prepare me with the help of other people. So this week, Ms. Meikle coached me, and Amos Liso gave me tons of encouragement. And as you think about what you plan to do with your one wild and precious life, as you question and wonder, I'd urge you to think about what your calling is. What are you good at? What do you love to do? And then don't be afraid that you aren't prepared yet. or that you have some big obstacle between you and that plan. You can take the leap. If you are willing and God's calling you to do it, He'll give you the skills and the people around you to teach you. Just like God appointed Aholiab to help Bezalel, you'll have people around you who will help you grow. Countless Aholiabs have come into my life, and even now they sit all around me in the English office. If you have a skill you feel blessed to be able to do, I'm sure you can think of all those people who helped you develop the ability that you needed. Some of us in this room, your parents and your teachers and your discipleship leaders and your coaches, are looking at this story from the other side now. We are the ones who have taught you graduating seniors something, have given you a skill in life, whether it's academic or spiritual, physical or creative, practical or moral. And now we're watching you begin to do God's work. In one of my favorite poems by Linda Paston, a mother remembers teaching her daughter how to ride a bike when she was small. And the mother can see that what happened then will happen again now that her daughter's grown. It's called To a Daughter Leaving Home. When I taught you at 8 to ride a bicycle, loping along beside you as you wobbled away on 2 round wheels, my own mouth rounding in surprise when you pulled ahead down the curved path of the park. I kept waiting for the thud of your crash as I sprinted to catch up, while you grew smaller and more breakable with distance, pumping for your life, screaming with laughter, the hair flapping behind you like a handkerchief waving goodbye. God bless you as you ride away from us laughing. May God show you what to do with your one wild and precious life, and may you always learn something from your crashes. Thank you.